The NB Mazda Miata mx-5. All the joys of the NA improved on and much more creature comforts added. Faster, tighter, and this one's an automatic. Well, let's get into this review. We all know the success story of the Miata. Built in the 90s, an homage to the classic British roadsters of decades ago, but in a car that doesn't break down every month. It was, and I believe it still is today, the best-selling roadster of all time. Fast forward 8 years from its birth, and we were gifted with the NB, which shared a ton of characteristics from the NA and improved on a lot more, like a 1.8-liter four-cylinder with VVT, increasing the horsepower to 142, a new redesigned interior, optional Bose sound system, stiffer chassis with optional sports suspension package, an optional 6-speed transmission, and then this generation gave us the beloved 178 horsepower turbocharged Mazda Speed Edition. Sure, they removed the pop-up headlights, but hey, at least it looks like a baby Viper now. The second generation sales weren't as dramatic as the first. Seems the Miata fever died down a little. But with the total NB production numbers being 290,123 for the 9 years it was around, I'd say that's a pretty good run for a little two-seater. Throughout all 4 generations, Mazda has made over 1 million Miatas. Now that's a title worthy for some praise. The millionth Miata ever made actually took a global tour where the first 240 people could sign it before going back home to its headquarters in Hiroshima, Japan. Now yes, this is my Miata, and my second one at that. The red NA you saw in the intro was my first, and it was a blast. But as you saw, it was also a rot box. So I got rid of it for an S10 that I LS swapped, which I then traded for a Corvette. Yeah, I've owned a lot of cars, 26 so far. But for the most part, this one's fairly stock drivetrain-wise. The only upgrades I have done were polyurethane motor mounts, KYB AGX gas adjust shocks with TN lowering springs, a touchscreen radio, slot and indrill rotors with EBC grain stuff, and a 3rd gen Mitsubishi Eclipse dash vent mod. You see, anyone who's owned an NB Miata knows that after some time, the stock dash vents will droop and loosen. It's nothing to be ashamed of. We're all getting old. It's just a part of life. So what you do to fix this is go to your local junkyard. Don't worry, there are plenty of 3rd gen Eclipses there. Grab all 4 dash vents, and since they're a little bit longer than the Miatas, just trim them down right after the line in the middle going toward the dash. Then pop out the old ones, and the new ones should fit right in, and now you can get nice, cool AC blowing in your face. Now I guess we can address the elephant in the room, the automatic transmission. But let me explain first. My first Miata was a manual, and it was probably the best shifting manual I've ever owned. Very short and notchy, perfect feedback. Now the reason why this is a auto tragic is because it's my fiance's daily. She's my amazing camerawoman for this video, so I'll give her a little shout out. But she doesn't really know how to drive manual yet. We're working on that with the EG, though. The second reason is because I traded a 2nd gen Honda CR-V with $2,000 on top. Now for a clean, stock NB Miata with 107,000 miles when I bought it, that's what it had. Automatic or manual, I don't care. I'll take that deal every day. That is a damn good deal. And like with almost any other car out there, manual swapping it can be done. I actually have all the stuff I need and 2 manual transmissions in my garage. What am I doing with 2 manual transmissions? Well, one was a really clean NA transmission that I got with the rest of the swap parts, and yes, it will work in the NB, they're interchangeable. The other one was an NB transmission laying next to a scrapped out Miata in the junkyard that I got for 120 bucks. So, yeah, why not? And to do the swap on an NB is actually very easy, no cutting or welding involved. Just a little wire splicing off the transmission to get the car to start. The only issue I'm facing is, yes, you can use the automatic ECU, but you will have a check engine light due to the auto transmission not being there. Swapping it to a manual ECU will work, but then I have to figure out how to reprogram the key and the ignition cylinder to the computer. The early NBs don't have the key transponder, so they don't have this problem. If you want to look up how to do the swap, I recommend going to Taylor Ray's channel and looking up how to manual swap any car. He says any car, but he specifically does it to a Miata. There's a ton you can do with the Miata. You can turbo or supercharge it, and yes, the LS along with the rotary swaps are popular. The world is really your oyster with a Miata. The appeal of it being rear-wheel drive and lightweight will grab any enthusiast's attention. If you got a motor laying around, go on Marketplace right now and find a shelf for like $600, and I bet you can find a way of fitting it in there. They are just that easy to work with. And even if you don't want to swap it, and you just want to do some tasteful mods, the aftermarket for these cars are plentiful down to the small accents. Websites like Moss Miata, Flying Miata, Goodwin Racing, and tons of other sites have any and every part imaginable for whatever you want to do. Want to make it a stripped out cage track car? Not a problem. What about a fully customized show car? It's been done before. Heck, jack it up and put some mud tires on it. It's all been done before. Mazda Miata, the Swiss Army knife of cars. Now all these praises don't go without some drawbacks. For example, the stock differentials are pretty weak. They're fine stock, but don't expect them to last with any power put behind them. People do make them work, but any small two-seater isn't going to be moving the family bookshelf into the new house. And from my experience, the automatic really puts a muzzle on the performance of this car. It feels so slushy and boring, even for an automatic standards. And I don't know if it's just me, but my manual NA felt a lot more peppier running it through the gears. So is Miata still the answer? Absolutely, especially the NB. Even completely stock, these cars are a blast to drive and will put a smile on your face top up or down. Nothing beats the first warm day after a cold winter, putting the top down in your Miata and finding the twistiest back roads you know and just having fun. And I also forgot to mention, they are reliable and cheap to fix, so that's a plus. Going back a couple of years, the prices on any Miata were way overinflated, which is funny because years before that, you can get a clean one for like $1,000 and some change. Nowadays, the prices have seemed to cool off. So right now, I believe is the perfect time to buy one. For my ratings, I give the NB Miata a 6.7 out of 10 in my everyday driver score. They are cheap, reliable, easy to fix, and get great gas mileage. If you only need 2 seats and not much cargo space, this could be a great daily for you. Though you might want a bigger, more comfortable car, say you want to go on a road trip. And for my enthusiast score, I give this a solid 9 out of 10. What can I say? It's a Miata. It's possibly one of the best, cheapest ways to get into a rear-wheel drive automotive hobby. Just look at all the Miata projects on YouTube, and the knowledge of the internet forums are plentiful. There are plenty of racing groups, say if you want to go drifting, autocross, or even drag racing, and great communities where you can get some knowledgeable feedback. So definitely go pick one of these things up. Automatic, manual, shell, or running example, either way you're going to have fun building and driving it. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and comment for more.